Avery, whose show is this? And we're live. Welcome, everybody, here to the Lakers Lounge Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider for Offside, joined on this fine Christmas Eve by none other than lounge favorite. not just in this lounge, but I would imagine you're one of the favorites in most lounges that you go to, right? So
yeah, sometimes I guess.
you seem
Depends
like
on the lounge.
Well, I know that you're a good hang because we've hung out before, but like I could see you buying like strangers drinks at lounges and bars.
Yeah, I do quite a bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. I had,
Yeah.
pretty good read of you.
I love it.
We've now known each other for years, so I guess that's not really a guess anymore. But
No.
yeah,
No. In fact, we have bought each other drinks at lounges
all the time.
Here it goes.
That is Aaron Larsuel. He is of the Hook from years back. He is from everywhere and nowhere that I'm allowed to say publicly.
So, everywhere and nowhere. That's a perfect way to describe it.
And today in the show, we're going to be talking about the vibes currently surrounding the Lakers as they are in a bit of a dip. So we're going to discuss whether or not fans should buy the dip, or if the Lakers have kind of told us who they are in a more full capacity. So we're just kind of ask the age-old question, who are these Lakers, over the course of this episode, and then we'll kind of wander around.
This is why I have so much unnamed cognac available. It's Hennessy available because every time I agree to do this, you just like to walk me into my least favorite topics and stuff I can't talk about. But let's get
the Lakers.
No, it's always for me. I hate vibes. Like I one of my favorite Anthony is tinfoil hat conspiracy Anthony. For listeners, longtime listeners of the show, You'll remember that. My least favorite Anthony, however, is body language doctor vibe check Anthony. So here we go. Let's get it.
Well, he'll get a little bit of both over the course of the show. A quick reminder, please hit subscribe wherever it is that you guys are currently watching or listening to this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, awesome. Subscribe, like button, share button, turn on notifications, all of those good things. If you guys are listening to the show, subscribe, rate, review, no matter where it is that you get your podcast, preferably on Odyssey, but like I always say, don't care. And then if you guys are watching on Twitter or listening to the podcast and want to find the video version of it, youtube.com/@LakersLounge is where you can do just that. All right, let's dive on in. So the Lakers, where do they currently sit? 19-9 is where they sit right now. They have a plus 0.3 point differential, which is usually that of a 500 team. So they have played a little bit above their heads. They're an outstanding clutch team. They execute really, really well in the half court, and I think that allows them to eke out some of their closer wins. They don't play very much defense, and they turn the ball over quite a bit, and I think that keeps teams in games against them. So, you're not going to see the Lakers blow too many teams out. And now you have JJ Redick saying things like when he was asked last night about whether the Lakers have guys like Jordan Goodwin or Dorian Finney-Smith who play really, really hard night in, night out, or if the Lakers have enough guys like that. JJ Redick simply said no. So, the vibes lately, not the best. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They started the season really well. I would maybe point to in a lighter schedule at the beginning of the year. But now, things have kind of come back down to earth, which makes the Lakers the typical Rorschach test team that they always seem to be, lightning rod team for analysis and all that stuff. And now, they head into a Christmas Day game against a Houston Rockets team that's also fallen back to earth a little bit. And yeah, Aaron, where do you see the vibes at right now? Obviously, you don't need to overshare given what you actually know about the actual vibes, but like you know, where do you like as a basketball team, just the way that they're performing? We can get into, you know, what do you, oh, the body language doctor. We could get into body language in a little bit, but yeah, like where do you have the Lakers as a basketball team right now?
Not as bad as they've looked recently.
Always good when you start with a deep, long.
Yeah, let me just get let me get a drink here real quick. Hennessy is delicious.
It was like, hey man, how are things?
The real answer is winning is the best deodorant there is. I used to say this all the time about the Packers teams, those terrible Packers teams that had Aaron Rodgers on them, that they would win. They were terrible, but they would win. And, you know, winning is the best deodorant. Yeah. Panic. Yeah. Relax, RELAX, relax. The Lakers aren't as good as they started the season. You alluded to some of the reasons why. The schedule was pretty easy. And the Lakers are 8-0 or 9-0 or something like that in clutch games, which is not sustainable, and have that poor point differential. Or I mean, it's not poor; it's ordinary, average point differential.
It's
and so,
given what they want to do this year.
Well, they've outplayed their record, and the reason why is because they're so good in clutch games, which will not last to that extent. They will win more clutch games than they lose because they have three geniuses in the half court to get you a good shot every single time, whether they go in or not. They were going in, less so now. But the Lakers aren't as good as they started the season, and they're not as bad as they've looked recently. And the reason why I said winning is a great deodorant is throughout an NBA season, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be frustration. Even in the best of times, some guys will be frustrated about whatever they're frustrated about. These guys are humans. But if you're winning, you can't really say anything, right? If you're frustrated, you can't let that slip or complain or whatever, because then you're the asshole, right? Because, you know, when the Lakers were, I don't know, what was it? 16-4 or something like that to start the year, right? If you're complaining about anything at that point, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, some of the frustration is coming to the surface. The vibes are not significantly worse than they were. It's just people are more likely to let stuff out because the team has not played well recently. They win close games and they get blown out when they lose. So that is why the point differential is what it is and why the Lakers have outplayed their record. But again, the Lakers, I don't believe, are as good as the whatever it was, 16-4 starter, something like that. And they're not as bad as they've looked the last week and a half.
Yeah, I think that's exactly where I sit right now. I don't think they were ever 2 seed good, but I also don't think they are 10 seed bad, right? 5-5 or whatever they would be.
Right.
And you know, the question then becomes how close to either side of the spectrum they fall, you know, how good can they actually be?
The reason I think they're closer to the team we saw in the playoffs, I think they're probably closer to this team that we've seen recently.
Yeah. I do think that they are a bit of a regular
as currently constructed. Let's be clear on that. As currently constructed.
Yeah, as currently constructed part, I don't want to get you in trouble here, but
no, you're good. We can talk
AJ Redick basically saying that the roster needs a specific kind of player or doesn't have a specific kind of player is kind of interesting to me, because we know that he and Rob Pelinka are in lockstep over the building of this roster. I think this roster reflects a lot of those guys' basketball philosophies, and to the good and bad. I think the good side of it is that their philosophies lean very offensive, and you see a roster that is capable of the best offense in the sport, especially in the half court. But I do think, and this is some of what the trap that you can fall into when you have a thinner front office and the front office or the GM and coach see things very similarly. There are some holes, blind spots, if you will, in building this roster, and that is athleticism, defense, and those things. And one thing that's kind of frustrated me at times with JJ is how often he falls back on the crutch of, well, we aren't playing hard enough. We don't play hard enough. We don't play hard enough, especially when the Lakers loses. It's like, oh, the guys didn't play that hard. They didn't do this. I didn't recognize this team. And I do think that like playing hard and engagement and discipline and stuff, that does wax and wane. But I also think it kind of ignores some of the choices that he makes when he says the Lakers don't have enough guys who play hard night in, night out. They do. They're just not a part of the rotation as in a significant way.
Yeah. And I've seen some of your stuff on Twitter. I lurk on Twitter more than I post on Twitter, specifically also especially about the Lakers. That could be not great for me. I'm very willing to tell everyone to fire Steve Kerr and that Brock Purdy ain't it, much like Jimmy G wasn't it. But I'm much more careful when I'm talking about the Lakers. And I've seen you kind of going back and forth with some people about that the Lakers roster has been thin and the pro scouting department is thin and all of that. And I don't think that's entirely true. I think the Lakers have had good off seasons. I think the problem is the draft. When you have two guys making as much as LeBron and Luka make, you're going to be limited in free agency, just period. Yeah. You're also going to be limited in trades now, also because of the apron rules. So I think the problem more with however thin you think the Lakers roster is, because look, like DeAndre Ayton has been a great signing. Marcus Smart is a great signing. However thin I think you think the Lakers roster is, frankly, I think that has more to do with the draft. The draft has not produced enough, in the last handful of years,
especially in the 2 straight first round. If we want to call them the B word, we can call them the B word, but
it's too early. I mean, you can call the one from the point guard.
Jalen is definitely.
You can call the point guard from Ohio State a bust from a few years ago. It's too the guy that's still on the roster. It's too early to say that. No, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. It is trending in that direction, but I think it's too early to say that definitively. So I think the draft has been a big issue, and which was definitely a strength of the Lakers, over the last decade or so. It's been a strength, but recently it has not borne enough fruit. Let's use that. But I think the off seasons have been, the free agent signings have been okay. And to your point about, we don't have JJ saying we don't have X, Y, and Z, and you saying, well, you do, you're just not playing them. Yeah, I think that's partially true. But coaches, when things start getting difficult, coaches will default to one way to solve problems. And JJ solves problems through offense. 75% of coaches in the NBA solve problems through defense. JJ solves problems through offense. I mean, it's probably not that difficult to guess why, because that's what he did and that's what he's used to. So I think he's going to naturally tend towards, more skilled guys that can shoot. JJ tried on defense. Like there's been guys like Kyle Korver, for example, was just a shooter and didn't try. Like JJ tried. He wasn't any good, but he tried. But he didn't have the physical characteristics to do it. And so that's when you see him getting away from guys like Jared Vanderbilt, who is an energy guy, who is a defensive guy, but frankly can make the offense a little bit more challenging. Marcus Smart has a chance to be a two-way guy. The Lakers don't have a ton of two-way guys. Marcus Smart has a chance to be when he's distributing the ball reasonably well. He's shot it well recently. But Marcus wasn't playing that much for a while and got hurt too. So I think the question will be, how difficult is it for JJ to at least try that? And we've seen it more recently with Jared kind of being back in the rotation. How willing is he to, and some of it has been forced because Rui's been hurt and LeBron was hurt at the beginning and Austin has been hurt and Luka's hurt now. So some of it is his. Although we did get
news just now from Shams that Luka's going to play tomorrow.
Yeah, he's playing tomorrow.
Yeah,
he was always going to play tomorrow. But I think it'll be interesting. And then, if the roster, if there's some change in the roster, what does that look like? Because you talked about basketball philosophy and everybody has always, kind of pushed me on and held my feet to the fire in certain places about like what is Rob's basketball philosophy. And I think it's evolved in his time here.
Combo guards.
I think that he tended towards star power and creation, etc. Perhaps at the expense of some shooting at times. I don't think that's his, or I do still think his philosophy is what it is. But I think he, as a GM, has learned that he has to use the word lockstep before, that he has to be in lockstep or aligned with whoever's coaching the team. And it hasn't been 100% in the past. I think it is now. And so what will the trade deadline look like? Will Rob and JJ and whoever else kind of double down on what they're going with? Or are they, going to try to change it up a little bit?
Doubling down would be like Michael Porter Jr. Like that would be funny.
He's having a hell of a year, by the way.
He's been really good.
He's been excellent.
He's been almost as good as basketball as he's been at podcasting. And
he's been almost as good at basketball as he is interesting and inflammatory at podcasting.
That's what I mean. Is that like if that's the point?
He generates views and downloads.
If that's the point, right?
Like
if that's the point. The personnel and the roster thing, and that kind of brings us to the fork in the road dot here off to the side is and Harrison and I talked about this yesterday, which it's like, all right, on the other side of Christmas, the season starts to get more serious, and you start to have to make choices, and you have enough data to kind of actually analyze the roster that you put together in the summer. And I do think it's again evident that the Lakers lack that two-way wing. Now, two-way wings are expensive, not just in terms of like against your cap, but also if you don't have one, acquiring one costs you a lot.
A lot of capital to get a two-way wing. Yeah.
So
that's what everybody wants. Yes.
Yeah, and I've always been somewhat skeptical of Rob Pelinka wanting to pay what it costs to acquire that kind of a wing or a role player, because he, I think, is always going to, you talk about defaulting, he's always going to default to what the Lakers are probably best at, which is big game hunting, star acquisition. And if you utilize a lot of your draft and expiring contract type capital, trade capital, on going out and getting a Herb Jones, or going out and getting, we just mentioned MPJ or Andrew Wiggins or Wing X, right? It costs you a lot to go out and get that player.
Mm-hmm.
And, seeing as Giannis is out there talking about being the hottest girl at the club, if I'm Rob, and I know that this is probably what Rob is balancing, he's like, all right, do we go for it this year and go out and get the wing that we clearly need to, at the very least, complete the starting lineup and have it be a little bit more balanced than it is right now? Or do we do whatever we can to make whatever additions on the margins and but keep that first round draft capital and the books next year as clean as we can for the event that Giannis finally says to Milwaukee, hey, we gave it a go. Can we make a decision here? Yeah. And that's, it's, I gotta be completely honest. And I do have to give Rob some leeway here, because that's a really difficult thing to balance. The possibility that Giannis could be available and that the Lakers will almost certainly be on whatever list he has of destinations he would like to go to makes it really difficult to say, like, all right, is Herb Jones worth costing you potentially Giannis? Because we just saw it with the Knicks, right? Like the Knicks, basically, they were the only team, according to Shams, that Giannis had on his list, and they didn't have the assets necessary to go out and get him because they used it all to go and get the two-way wing Mikal Bridges. That's the exact situation that the Lakers are balancing here. So my question to you, Aaron, without getting yourself into trouble, is like, how would you balance all of that? Maybe not necessarily how the Lakers will do it because
Sure.
that would get you into a lot of trouble. But but how would you balance that? Because it's
So it is.
I would be
It
disingenuous if
is.
I didn't say that was a difficult
It is.
decision to
It's a
have to make.
tough it's a tough what is it needle to thread
Yeah,
for a few reasons. One is you never know, right? And if it's not the guy you mentioned, maybe it's the next one
yeah,
who is you just never know. The NBA always there's always something in the NBA, right? You never know which superstar or star or all-star or fringe all-star or whatever is going to be you never know who the next guy that's going to ask out
yeah. It's always
is.
somebody.
It is
Like it,
always somebody. And so you have
and
to
there's not much of a gap between the somebodies either.
you have to no, and sometimes there's more than one somebody. Um
Yeah.
and you have to I mean, and the Lakers, I promise you, do this is you have to game it all out. You have here's A, B, C. If this happens, then this, then this. But even with the best intel you can gather, people in the NBA get surprised all the time. And so you have to balance all of those things with, well, who's available now? What will it cost to get them? And how close are you? Oklahoma State,
That's the
Oklahoma State,
question. How
Oklahoma
close? Like
City,
you're a
Oklahoma
0.3
City
point
looks
differential, and OKC has a 30-point differential.
yes, but OKC has now lost 3 games in a row, right? So
Yeah,
they
for
look
sure.
a little less, juggernautish than they did a week and a half ago. So all of this stuff matters. Or maybe do you say, the Lakers specifically, maybe do you say, like, LeBron's certainly not getting any younger, and who knows what's going to happen, what the roster will look like, next year. LeBron's a free agent, and Austin's due for a new contract, so who knows, right? Or who knows who you can get with cap space. You don't have to only sign free agents with cap space in this era. Cap space is valuable for trade, facilitating trades too. So all of that stuff has to get weighed again against, like, how good of a chance do you, and what are the Lakers' odds at winning a championship now? And then what do they become with whoever you may acquire? And again, how scared of Oklahoma City are you? How scared of Denver? How scared of Houston? The East, like,
Although Denver
whatever.
looks like they're going to be without Cam Johnson for a while. That looked
Uh,
like a bad injury.
in addition to,
Yeah.
I mean, they are just out of wings. But I have Peyton Watson on my fantasy team. That's a good thing these days. But again, like, who knows what the Lakers roster will look like? So you have to weigh all of those things with how scary is Oklahoma City versus, does Oklahoma City get scarier going forward, or are they not, because the finances catch up to them and they have to, some of their 6th, 7th, 8th guys they can't afford anymore. So all of these things make it very difficult. I personally am kind of inclined to go get the best guy you can. That's kind of my thought on the matter, is go get the best guy you can.
And the youngest guy you can.
Go get the best guy you can. I look, top 5 players in the NBA don't become available all that often. The Lakers got one of them last year, fell out of the sky. So I am inclined to say, let's really game that out and see if that's a possibility. But you have to be honest about, as best as you can, about what your chances are this year and what it will take to, can you make an upgrade and still be in those kind of conversations? These are all, like, it's a sliding scale of all of these things. That is the job. That's the hardest part of the job, and that is the job. And it's, frankly, it's hard. And there are, I promise you, 100 scenarios already considered, 150 scenarios already considered and gamed out and on the whiteboard. And if this, then that, and could we do this? And conversations are being had all around the league, including the Lakers, making calls, receiving calls. And so, yeah, it's all to say, I'm personally inclined to go get most talent. You figure it out, right? You get all the talent you can and then figure it out. But
yeah,
it is
the thing
complicated.
the thing with like the caliber of wing that we're talking about here, and this is why I kind of said like if you're going to go out and get a wing, and this is something that is reported and I've heard too, is that the Lakers are really focused on, no matter who they go out and acquire, they're looking for that player to fit the Austin Luka window where, you're talking about 26, 27-year-olds. So that you're going for it this year, but that player is also good next year.
Yeah.
And
Pete and Darius talk about this a lot, like building next year's team this year.
now, yeah. And I, it's the kind of thing where I don't care who's at the top of your roster. If you have one of those two-way wings, your team is just going to be better. Like that's it. I've been saying this dating back to like really early in my career, because I remember really early in my career the thought was, bigs were the most important thing, and the league was very like point guard heavy, and I remember like banging the drum of like, no, guys, wings are the most important player, especially at the advent of like the pace and space era. It was like, all right, now that everybody is going to be trying to shoot layup/dunks and corner 3-pointers, what type of player shoots the most of those shots? It's going to be your wing. And who can defend the most players? It's going to be your wing.
Mm-hmm.
And so like this is, and Pete kind of made this point in a different way. He was saying that because the Lakers keep losing essentially the same way to the same team over and over and over again, that it makes it easier to identify like what you really need to go out and get. And I, that type of player is going to help next year and the year after that and forever, so long as the focus around the league is still going to be corner threes and dunks and layups on offense and versatility on defense.
Okay, so now I will share like what I always like give you grief about privately when we have these conversations. Okay, who?
Like, no, you say whomst.
Okay, fine. Whomst. Like conceptually great, but whomst. Yeah. And are they available? And what is it going to cost to get them?
Going into the season, I was hoping that Phoenix would suck because maybe Dillon Brooks would become available, but I don't think they're going to suck as bad as we were kind of hoping they would. So I don't think he's going to.
I mean, they already don't. They already.
Yeah. Well, it helps that they picked up their starting shooting guard from the team that they just beat last night. And then, before the season and throughout the summer, I was reporting about the conversations that the Lakers were having with Miami about Andrew Wiggins. He would make some sense, though. He's a little older than that window that we talked about with Luka and Austin. So that might make that somewhat complicated. I'm not going to lie to you, though. I know that I've spent all this time talking about like the lack of defense and the lack of like guys who play hard night in, night out. I do find myself looking at MPJ and it's like, damn, it would be nice if the Lakers had that caliber of a shooter.
I mean, he can shoot that thing. He can shoot that thing. He let that thing go.
I would kill for a shooter of like Colin Gillespie's caliber. Like that guy, he's open, it's going up quickly, and it's going in.
Well, and like, I'm not going to speak about the Lakers specifically, but the other thing about Michael Porter Jr. is he's a damn good rebounder as a small forward. He's also 6'10", 6'11", but he'll go get it off the glass too. He's an excellent rebounder. He's not going to pass or play any defense, but he is an excellent rebounder as a three.
Yeah. My concern with MPJ is in the playoffs, he kept on wilting up against physicality, and I don't think that changes by going and playing with the Nets. And then Herb Jones, right? Team Money right here talking about Herb Jones. It's like he, user KM4WK.
Okay. Herb Jones first time on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. It's always good when you're
hasn't set up the profile yet. I see. Okay.
I remember logging onto Twitter and being like, damn, what's my @ gonna be? And I can't even recall what I called myself when I first hopped on.
This is why I use what I use. Like, this is the easiest thing to remember. It's like me talking to girls. I'm not gonna lie to all 8 of you. Then I have to remember it, right? Just Just my name is the easiest thing to remember.
Well, eventually I landed on my name, and then I added LA because initially it was like, I think it was like Anthony Irwin Lakers. But then I was like, I started covering the Dodgers and was like, oh, well, I probably can't have Lakers in there while I'm covering the Dodgers. So that's, I think, when I shifted to LA. I also eventually didn't want, like, if I was going to be considered any kind of a reporter or podcaster or analyst or anything like that, having Lakers in my I don't think would have worked, but it's worked really well for Pete. So
let me hold on. Let me, because I see a lot in the chat about. All right, let me. I think we need to put away the 2 New Orleans Wings for now. They are both, if they're going to get traded before this deadline, before whatever it is, February 5th or 6th. If they're getting traded this year, it's for more first round picks than Lakers can trade presently. So things can change, but I would put away Herb Jones and Trey Murphy if I were, if Lakers fans, if you're on the trade machine, I would choose a team other than New Orleans to go hunting for.
So I get that. I mean, part of the problem is that they don't have their own first round pick this year. So what's the point in tanking?
Well, no, I don't even. It's not even that. It's that the Lakers have 1 first round pick to trade presently, or up at this deadline, and other teams will just beat that offer if they're available at all. Other teams will beat that offer.
I don't think Trey Murphy is, practically speaking, available. I do think Herb Jones is a little bit more available, but I agree with what you're saying that like, if
put Trey Murphy aside for now. Herb Jones is going for more than 1 first round pick.
That's what I mean. Is that like some team finds out that the Lakers are in on Herb Jones for 1 first round pick? Guess what they're immediately going to do? Here's 1 first pick and 1 protected first round pick, because that's better than you can get.
And
perhaps
matching salary that you like better.
Yeah, although I think all they would care about is that the matching salary be expiring,
Maybe.
But
although, like,
well, why are you sending? Why would that team send over a useful player if they're trading for Herb Jones?
Because he's more useful than the guy you have.
Hmm.
I mean, look, like,
you can have
what is New Orleans? What is New Orleans like gonna do with the cap space? Yes, again, as I said earlier, you can use it to facilitate trades, but like, New Orleans is not getting in the free agent market. Period.
Yeah. Well, I just mean that, like, what you don't want to be is bad and expensive, and they are that. So, like,
well, no. You don't want to be mediocre and expensive. You want to be bad and expensive if you have your draft pick. You don't want to be bad and expensive if you don't have your draft pick.
Well, they're the trifecta. Yes. They're expensive, bad, and they don't have their pick.
Yeah. What is Zach Lowe has some term he uses, like I don't know. It's like a 5-point, the star of suffering or something. It's like these 5 teams. I think it was Dallas
in the West.
A lot better. It was Dallas, Sacramento, New Orleans. I don't remember the other 2, but probably Washington, although they've been a little better, I guess. Charlotte.
Well, did he have one in the West? And then I think he had one in the league wide, because I think it was like the Clippers, Sacramento.
Yeah, it was the Clippers. Yeah, it was the Clippers, Sacramento, Dallas, New Orleans were on it, and there was one of
Utah.
Oh yeah, I think Utah. Yeah, I think that's
I look. End of the day, something would have to happen for Herb Jones to fall into the Lakers' price range that they can literally, like, it's not a matter of like whether or not Rob wants to put the pick on the table, because I think he would put the pick on the table for Herb Jones. But whether or not
is delicious.
But like, unknown cognac, man. Stop giving.
Sorry, they got to sponsor. They got to sponsor the show. Yeah. Unnamed cognac is delicious.
Kirkland freaking cognac is delicious. Costco does more for the show than Hennessy does. But
I've never had the Kirkland cognac.
I have
the Kirkland whiskey, the fake Crown. The Kirkland whiskey That's always on the bar cart.
Their vodka is also good. Like their vodka apparently is like a step below Grey Goose. I'm not a vodka
I think
guy,
it's
so I haven't
produced
had
in
it
the
in a long
same.
time.
Yeah, I don't drink vodka, but isn't it the same? I think it's produced at the same factory or plant or distillery.
Well,
factory.
Costco keeps getting into trouble because they partner with these brands and then they study the merch that these brands make, and then they make
and then they cut the price.
exactly that stuff.
Right. And then they
sell it
undercut
for
the price.
way cheaper. Because like Lululemon, I think, just sued them. And like, to me, if I'm Costco, I'm like, thank you for suing me. This is great.
Yeah,
Cheap
absolutely.
advertising. It's like,
A,
yes,
you're not
right.
gonna win.
My stuff
and B,
is just
either
like
way,
yours.
like
Yeah.
you're letting everyone know your product is the same as ours for 1/3 the cost.
But yeah, like the golf balls, like the rumor is that they are based on Pro V1s, which is like everybody's favorite golf ball. It's not my favorite golf ball, but most people's golf ball.
Is it? What is that? Titleist? What is that?
Yeah, it's a Titleist.
Oh,
Titleist Pro V1.
That's white people shit. I don't know about golf balls.
Tiger Woods, literally best golfer of all time.
And one of the whitest people I have ever had the pleasure of meeting in my life.
It's also like if you name one black guy.
Right. Yes. Right. If you can count your black friends. Tiger Woods went to Stanford. Like, what else do we need to say about this?
Yeah. Well, and there's some friendships that he has that would indicate, some stuff. But yeah.
Wait. Some friendships that he has?
Yeah, like one in particular. One dude.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. I thought you
You're gonna make me say this and then like
No.
It's gonna hit the algorithm
No.
I'll be deported.
I thought you were talking about his proclivities in other areas, and I was going to join forces with him as the light skinned contingent. That what? Never mind. I don't. That doesn't make you white. All right, whatever.
All right, let's go ahead and get into some of the questions that people have in the chat because I have to run out and pick up a TV. So first, because we have a couple of super chats.
TV we getting?
What size?
Yeah.
You
got the 85 in the foyer already. So
no, it's a 65. It's for the office. So
that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have an 85 in the foyer already.
No, it's in the. That's not. We don't have a TV in the foyer.
You have it. You have the 85 in the foyer.
No, I have a mirror.
How do you even have a foyer?
It's just the entry room. It's the first room that people.
An entry room?
It's just, no. It's just like a.
You need to move back to LA.
No, I don't, because then I want to have a foyer. Like, every so often, I'll have an employer be like, "Yeah, it sure would be nice if you could live closer and report on the Lakers in person." I'm like, "Yeah, sure would be nice if you bought me a house." Like that'd be.
And I can't even. It's been storming for the last 36 hours here, raining sideways and wind taking down trees and flood warnings and all that. So I can't even hold that over you at present.
It is like 76 degrees and beautiful out right now. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's great. Good for you. So
I go golfing. But anyway,
I bet you will.
Let's
Jen, you and Tiger Woods going with them Kirkland.
I'm hosting Christmas Eve and Christmas tomorrow. If I went golfing, I would have to move back to LA because I'd be moving in with my parents. Yeah. Jen would take the house from me. All right. Most important clip on the show.
Wait, why when that plays does it only cover me?
It's just centered. So like
no, it was. Oh, because we have because there's the topic bar on the side. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle.
So like you're in the middle of the screen right now, technically.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. First question here comes from Brandon Omeng, who writes, Lakers roster isn't perfect, but I don't know if JJ is the right answer as the coach. Also extended him way too early before he proved anything. Not that much. Well, I disagree that he's not that much better than Ham, but starting to feel like Ham 2.0, in my opinion. I don't know that I would necessarily go that far as the last two sentences there. I do think they extended him a tad early. That struck me as a little odd. My bigger thing is JJ Redick. This is still only his second year ever coaching at any level. And I don't know how good the assistant coaching staff is around him to help guide him through some stuff. And I do think where there are some similarities with Ham, and I think it's a similarity, as Aaron pointed out earlier. It's that, like, when the going gets tough, you default to the things that matter to you most. It's just, where the similarities end is that Darvin's default was towards defense and athleticism and going hard on them dudes.
Torian Prince.
Then and Torian Prince and Cam Reddish, and not Austin Reeves and not Rui Hachimura. And then in JJ's
Rob asked me one. You know what? Never mind. Go continue.
I can't wait for that story off the air.
Just kidding.
But JJ's default, I think, gets him into trouble in the same ways that most, typical head coaches.
But yeah, but that's not. You're right. Every coach's default can get them in trouble.
Yeah. Well, I think there are there's a handful of elite coaches who don't default in the same way. That like they're more flexible even when the going gets tough, right? Like Spo, to me,
yeah, Spo at the beginning of this year completely changed how they played.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is that
they've been pretty horrendous in the last 15 games.
Well, everybody kind of figured out how
they started. They started great, yeah.
No, but I to me, what differentiates between a good and a great coach is that ability to get the most out of personnel, no matter who the personnel is, and we're talking about sure.
The
Spos of the world, the Pops of the world, the Phil Jacksons of the world. That might be the end of the list. I know you ain't say.
I mean, I think it's in question with Phil Jackson, but that's for a different show. But
no, even in Phil Jackson's case, he ran the triangle, right? And they won championships those 3 years with 3 different power forwards. It wasn't the same roster that he kept winning with during the 3
I think it's in question with Phil. It's definitely in question with D'Antoni. You didn't mention D'Antoni, but
fuck no, I'm not.
We're not going to play power. We're not going to play 2 of our 3 best players. We're not going to play them together.
Yeah,
what?
The D'Antoni era.
Wait, why? What? Why?
Yeah. The first thing he did was piss off Powell.
Yeah, just
who doesn't get along with Powell?
Yeah, what's happening here? This doesn't. I don't. Okay, are you sure? All right, man.
That was crazy.
So, I would say, and this is kind of my default answer for all of these sort of things, and you are one of the voices of the fans, Anthony. So but I do this to you too, because you're a fan first. So I do this to you too when it comes to trades. And everybody in the chat and Brandon. First, I think JJ was excellent last year in the regular season. Excellent, not good, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he had a good playoff series.
Mm-mm.
This season so far, the results would tell you that he's been excellent again, because nobody thought the Lakers record would be as good as it is at present. You are what your record says you are. Yes, there are some very positive indicators. Yes, there are some negative indicators.
Mm-hmm.
But I think JJ, if you graded JJ's tenure in total, B+. I think he was an A last year. He wasn't good in the playoffs, and I think he's been a B+, A- in the regular season so far this year. So if he is a B+ and you think he's a B+ coach, or maybe even better, he's a B+ early in his second year, maybe he's, you hope he improves, as coaches generally do, as they learn more about the game, how to relate to the guys, what works, what doesn't work, their philosophy changes, all of that sort of thing. Why not extend him? And then the follow-up part to that, the thing I always say to you, and I said earlier, for whomst? If you want JJ not to be the coach, who do you want instead? Who's out there available that you would replace him with?
For one thing, I'm not banging the drum of replace JJ, so I haven't even thought about.
No, I'm not saying that, but you're saying if you don't want to extend him because you're worried he's not the guy, then that means you're replacing him in a year or two.
No, my problem with extending JJ was that and the way that they extended him, it just unless maybe they learned their lesson from the Frank Vogel debacle, right? Where he wins.
I think the lesson has been having not Frank specifically, but just the constant turnover of coaches that, frankly, Jeannie hasn't been in favor of, like, conceptually at all.
Yeah.
And by the way, coaches' salaries don't count against the salary cap. So, like, you extended JJ, okay, and it doesn't go so well 2 years from now, and you want to make a change, then you make a change.
Well, I've said this on the air. My thought when the extension happened, it struck me as taking care of somebody just in case Mark Walters steps in and starts making changes. That was my initial thought when I saw the news of the extension, because extending a guy after a first round exit, a 5-game first round exit when you had home court in that series, like that didn't seem very Lakersy to me, you know, especially when you barely extended the guy who won you a championship. The contradiction there really stood out. And now look, again, maybe they learned their lesson. To your point, they just basically said, we think JJ is good now and can get even better in the future. And they said, we want in on the JJ Redick business moving forward. We saw how it played out with firing Frank Vogel and cutting his legs out from underneath him the way that they did. And they kind of experienced that and said, I don't want to do that again.
Well, to be fair, they saw what happened in hiring Frank Vogel too.
What do you mean?
I mean, like, it wasn't just pick, it wasn't just go to Costco and select which coach you want and throw him in the cart and walk out with him. Right? Like that was a lengthy process. Let's call it a lengthy process. That was a lengthy process.
That was a fun one.
I did not find it all that. I was not having a ton of fun in that point of my existence. That was not my favorite time. It ended up well, though. It ended up working out.
Yeah, I think I always thought that they kind of undervalued Frank Vogel because he became synonymous with the process that led them to Frank Vogel, not necessarily what he was capable of as head coach.
I think I've said this on the show before. I still think Frank's a very, very good coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's probably an elite defensive coach. And I think the mistake that we made was assuming that Frank and AD and LeBron just equaled an elite defense. Like, everybody else can just be, let's go find guys that can score. Yeah. Let's get offense, because those three are so good defensively, they'll figure it out. And I don't think that was fair to the three of them.
Well, that's kind of goes back to what we talked about with Rob earlier, is that, like, we talk about people defaulting to their instincts. And I think Rob's instincts are always on the offensive side. He's a former agent. When he was an agent, guys got paid.
He also in his basketball, his fairly illustrious basketball career was not exactly like the defensive stopper.
No,
this was not a guy you would bring in. This was not Jose Alvarado. This is not like somebody you bring in to change the game. It's not Avery Bradley. Speaking of another person that certain people were obsessed with.
Yeah, he was Michigan's JJ Redick. He was Michigan's.
He was the Fab Five JJ Redick, kind of.
Yeah,
yes.
Token white guy. Brandon, he was the GPA booster. All right. GPA. There was a Carlos Mencia joke from back in the day, and for some reason I always swap GPA and GPS. All right, Brandon Omeng again. Thank you for the super chat. Have to trade Gabe, Maxey, DK, and Rui. If we could get Keon/Sadiq or Oubre, wouldn't be mad. Not sure where things stands with Wiggins and Herb. Rui shooting is good, but doesn't do role player things outside of the threes. My thing with Rui, Aaron, have you heard my analogy about Rui?
I don't think so. Maybe. Well, let's hear it again, and I'll be able to tell you if I've heard
Rui's shooting is like that Twitter account that has zillions of followers, but then you look at their engagement, and it's like, I feel like your engagement should be. Are you
saying Rui bought his jump shot?
He's got a jump bot.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, all right. So I'll just go down the line here because you can't name guys in particular.
No, I'll speak about Rui real quick.
Yeah.
Rui can shoot it, and he's a good offensive player. I don't think that Rui is definitive enough. I think he is not aggressive enough in shooting the ball when he's playing with Austin and LeBron and and Luka. I think he needs to shoot it more, and I think he needs to be more decisive and quicker in his offensive decision making, whether that's attacking a closeout. And I would like to see Rui use his size, strength, athleticism to affect the game more in ways other than just scoring.
Yeah, 100%. All of that I really agree with.
But his shooting is valuable. His gravity is valuable, and he's a good He's a good player, but he could be more.
I think he's more sixth / like 6th to 8th man than he is starter until he learns to impact the game in those other ways.
Yes, but I also think something that is valuable. Frame a flash flood warning. I think something that is valuable for Rui is when he is playing with when he's playing with all the other best players, he gets the advantage of a mismatch generally, because like generally the biggest dude is going to guard DeAndre, and the 3 best small / perimeter / wing defenders are going to guard Luka, Austin, and LeBron. And so he gets the advantage of having the least challenging matchup when he's on offense, which he can use to exploit his size, speed, athleticism, and jumper that we just talked about, that I would like to see him do more of. So I don't like his production and talent level maybe suggests he should be in a 6-man role, and also kind of those offensive only, he's not offensive only, but like offensive primarily guys generally, come in and get buckets as a 6th man. But I think him getting the weakest matchup on the floor it can be useful. And I would like to see it taken advantage of more, frankly.
Well, all right, but he has the weakest matchup of the starters, but then like him going up against bench units, like it's kind of
but generally the best defensive player on the bench is going to be significantly better than the worst defensive player among the starters.
Ooh, maybe. I don't think so with good teams.
I mean, usually because, well, look, like you wanted to move Rui to the bench because he's going to go get buckets, right? That's what you do. That's what the 6th man generally does. He just goes and gets buckets. 6th, 7th, 8th guys tend to be more offensive minded. They tend to be less athletic. They tend to be smaller, and they tend to be
but you're saying that you would have a better defender of those 6, 7, 8 guys.
Yes, but I'm saying the worst of the offensive guys. The worst defender of the starters. He gets to go up against the worst. If you go like a full bench unit, the 6th, 7th, 8th guys are usually just offensive only guys. But then you're going to have some defensive stoppers in there. If you look at like when Marcus Smart was gonna, the idea for Marcus Smart to come off the bench, he's gonna come in and he's gonna get stops too. So Gary Payton is like an example of that for the Warriors. So I think that the best bench defender is going to be better than the worst starter defender.
I think that's more of a mediocre to bad team thing, and
maybe
like the good.
And by the way, most teams in the NBA are mediocre to bad, but
but like the good teams, like OKC's worst defender is Shea, right? Like in the starting 5.
And
he's still pretty damn good. That's what makes.
I mean, that's why they're so good. I mean, the worst.
Like you could say, like Steph back in the day, right? Like he was probably.
It depends if Hartenstein's starting, but like Hartenstein's okay. Shea's good. Yeah, it depends if Hartenstein's starting.
Yeah. All right, let's get to one more question here because apparently my in-laws are dropping off my kids.
All right.
Sebastian Condon writing 28th in net rating in December. Yeah, a lot needs to be changed. First person that needs to change is Redick. Again, he's not getting fired. He just got an extension. Lakers love him.
Should he get fired?
I never said he should.
Wait,
I'm just answering.
You get paid in euros? They do this in euros?
Yeah, is that more than $6?
Yeah, that's
The euro is
I don't
more
know what the exchange rate
valuable
is
than the dollar
presently,
right now,
but
right? So
yeah, that's you get okay. The super chat in euros. All right.
yeah. But like I don't see Reddick going anywhere. What I would like to see from Reddick is growth. And that was kind of baked into why the Lakers would improve this year is growth from Reddick as a head coach. And I do think in some ways he's been better this year. I think the Lakers have been more organized this year than they were last year. I do think that some of the questions that I had for him going into the season, that being flexibility, pliability, all of those things, like, I don't think I've seen the improvement that I was looking for. And I would like to see some of those things improve. But Reddick isn't being fired, and there's nobody who you could hire right now who would be better than Reddick. Although, is Mike Malone a better head coach than Reddick? Probably.
I mean, look, he's won a title, so you give him credit for that. But
yeah, how much of that was Jokic?
It was not going well at the end there for Mike Malone. I mean, he'll get another shot, and he should, because I do.
It wasn't going well because Calvin Booth and he were being incredibly petulant with each other.
Yes, I think that's a lot of it, but there was definitely one guy, at least there, and perhaps more than one guy, that could have saved Malone's job if he was so inclined, and he was not.
Yeah. I think this is our buddy Xavier in the chat. Letting the Pelicans know that Gabe Vincent led a team to the finals. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to let people know what our dude Gabe is capable of. From what I don't know if he led a team to the finals. Gabe a lot.
I don't know if he led a team to the finals. He definitely played well in the finals, though. He was, I think that may have had a little bit more to do with Jimmy and Bam. But
what I will say about Gabe is that he is definitely a lot more liked around the league now than he was last year. Part of that is the contract expiring now. Part of it is he's literally playing. And if the Lakers do trade for Andrew Wiggins, I would expect Gabe to be in that trade. That's as far as I'm willing to go on that front. But I've heard that Miami likes Gabe. I've said that on the show before, but I've heard Miami likes Gabe a lot.
I mean,
because he led them to the finals.
Yeah, I mean, he does have history there, right?
He led that team to the finals. Jimmy and Bam were just along for the ride.
Right, yeah. Jimmy averaging like 39, 12.
Jimmy's going to show up at my house.
Right, and like guarding the best guy on the other team.
He's going to overcharge me for coffee and beat my ass.
I mean, look. Hey, look, Gabe was good in those playoffs. So.
He was. That's why he got the contract that he got from the Lakers. Aaron, this is always really, really fun. One of my absolute favorite people to talk basketball with, just talk to in general. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
And to you.
Hope to see you soon. Anything that you want to plug before we get you out of here?
Nope.
Cooking recipes?
No.
Any helpful tip? You're the best cook I know. What's a helpful tip to those of us who are prepping dinner tomorrow?
Well, if you're gonna go with prime rib, right? Are you gonna sous vide it?
I have it in the sous vide bag right now with the rosemary and the butter, and I'm gonna put it in the sous vide tonight. No, tomorrow night. Yeah. How long can I sous vide like? Is there like a limit to how long I can sous vide a prime rib?
Oh yeah, you could easily do it for 24 hours. That's not a problem at all.
And it'd be good. It'd be better.
Yeah, because it's not gonna. It's such a big chunk of meat. It's not gonna the temperature is never gonna go over, so you'll never overcook it. The question will be, if you cook it too long, will the texture degrade? And no, it's big enough that it will not. If you're doing like one steak, then yeah, you don't want to have it in there more than 4 or 5 hours at the most. Mm-hmm. But no. What is a good Here's a good tip for Christmas. For when it's just anytime, any involved meal making, do the prep early, right? And have that be leisurely. And basketball is a lot like life, and cooking is a lot like life. The preparation makes the execution easy.
I like
So
it.
get ahead of it, make it leisurely, make it fun, have a beverage, listen to some music, and do your prep ahead of time. So when you're actually having to put it together all at the end, you're not stressed out.
How long should a prime rib sit?
How long should it sit? When?
Like after it's done cooking, before I cut it open?
Are you depends? Are you cooking it in the sous vide?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Then you don't have to worry about it so much.
And searing it, but
Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. Like
okay.
if you're cooking it in the oven, if you're like cooking it in the oven low and then searing it in the broiler or something, then you need to let it rest for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. But if you cook it in the sous vide, here's the other thing: cook it in the sous vide. Here's a good tip for all you sous vide people: cool it down. Put it in an ice bath after you take it out of the sous vide, so that you don't want to cook it. You don't want to go straight from the sous vide to the to searing it. However, you're going to sear it, because then it'll overcook.
Huh.
So cool it down some first before you sear it.
Put the bag in the ice and then
just create an ice bath like in the sink or whatever. Cold water, a bunch of ice cubes,
shock it,
and then cool it down. Yeah.
Okay.
You can also cook it. Also, you can sous vide it today and put it in the fridge. Put it in the ice bath, put it in the fridge, and then tomorrow take it out and sear it whenever.
Interesting.
It'll be fine in the fridge. I mean, it'll be fine in the fridge for a week as long as you don't open the sous vide bag. But
yeah,
you can definitely do it today. Take it out, cook it however long your recipe says to cook it. You can probably do it in 3-4 hours in the sous vide. Take it out, ice bath in the fridge, and tomorrow you don't have to worry about it. But tomorrow, you don't want it to be straight from the refrigerator cold.
Yeah.
But take it out, let it come up to room temp for, an hour or so. Make sure it's very dry, re-season it. Make sure it's very dry before you sear it, re-season it, and then pop it. If you're going to do cast iron, if you're going to do a blowtorch, if you're going to do the broiler or whatever.
Now I got stuff to think about.
I would say do it today. Make life easy. Just do it today and it's done. Throw it in the fridge. You don't have to worry about it.
I'm definitely going to sous vide it overnight. Like I'm definitely going to sous vide it so that it's in there for a good 20-24 hours.
Oh yeah. Then yeah. Whenever tomorrow, by the time you wake up tomorrow, it'll be fine. So take it out, put it in the fridge, let it chill for a while. And then, however, when you're getting ready to watch, what is it? A 7:00 tip for you tomorrow? What time's dinner?
We usually do an earlier dinner. We usually do like 4-ish.
Okay. So when you get up, take it out of the sous vide, ice bath, put it in the fridge. And at like 2, take it out, let it sit, let it get to room temperature, dry, make sure it's completely dry, re-season it, sear it.
You season it before you sear it?
Re-season it, yeah.
But don't you burn the pepper?
Not when you're searing it like that. If you were gonna really cook a whole steak, on the grill or on the pan for the whole time, yeah. But just the amount of time it takes to sear it, no, you won't burn the pepper.
Interesting. All right. Well, as always, this is fun, man. Merry Christmas to you and yours. Merry Christmas to everybody watching. No show tomorrow. I know the Lakers play, and we would normally do a Lakers lounge, but I am, again, not interested in getting divorced over a single YouTube episode. So have a great rest of your days. Have a great rest of your holidays, whether it's Christmas, whatever it is that you're celebrating or not celebrating. Be safe out there. If you're driving or if you're drinking, don't drive. I'm sure that there are going to be people driving around. You're going to pay an arm and a leg, but it's still less expensive than the alternative. So, yeah, man. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye, everyone.